Hello everyone, Professor Halsey here, and welcome to Module 6 of our CEIS150 Programming with Objects class. This is the stock tracking app, and this week is so fun and exciting. So if you enjoyed the charts of last week, this week is just going to be incredible. I love it. So let's jump into Module 6 project, working with files. And download your project guide and the deliverable and open up Replit and join me back here in just a minute. Okay, before we go on, I want to point out here that if you notice, we only have two methods here left that say under construction. So that's what we're concentrating on this evening, and we're going to finish up those two methods to round off our stock tracking app. And we're going to use some file reading in here, and it's going to be just fun. So let's get started. The first thing we have to do is go to Yahoo Finance, and we're going to import some data for one of our stock files, or two or three, depends on how many you want to do. Do as many as you want. And we're going to use that data and import it into our current program. And then we're going to use the chart from last week and actually plot the data that we read in this week. So it's going to be an exciting journey, and it will take a minute, but we'll stick it out together if you hang in there with me. All right, so the CSV file is what we got to go download from finance.yahoo.com. So join me at finance.yahoo.com. Okay, so here what we want to do is put in the symbol for whatever stock we are going to use in our example. And I'm going to use GOOG for Google or Alphabet. Okay, once I get here, and it depends on how the screen comes up and what you've got going on where, but you're going to look for historical data. I was here 5 minutes ago and it was on this side, so I think it depends on what else I got open at the time. We want historical data, and once we go here, we can actually do a date range, and right now I think it's a year. A year's good. You can look at the maximum. You can do 5 years. It kind of depends on what you feel like doing. 1 year looks good, so I'm going to go with that. And then here you will see download. So we're going to click on download. And we'll get this file. Notice it's GOOG.CSV. I need to take this file and I'm going to have to upload it to my Replit account. All right, so I have to know where this file is, and mine is in my downloads folder right here. So make sure you know exactly where it's at. So when we get ready to upload it, you can find it. Okay, then we're going to open this up and look at it. And I can open it with Excel. I kind of want to open it with Notepad, so that we can see here that you've got a date, comma, and then a price. And I think that's high or low, one of the two. That's low, because this would be high. And notice in between each of them is that comma. So that's why we call it CSV, or comma separated values. So that's your low, high, and close, I believe. And then they have the other information here, and this one is volume. So we have date right here is one of the ones we're going to be pulling, which is in column 0. That's the date. And then we have column 1, 2, 3, Yeah, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This must be close here, and then volume. So those are the other two we're going to be picking up in our example. Okay. So once we get into Replit, we're going to come over here up in Files and hit these three dots next to Files, and I'm going to upload a file. The file I want to upload is the one I just downloaded, so goog.csv in my downloads folder. Okay, when it comes in outside of that 150 folder. I'm actually going to pick it up and drag it, to where it ends up in line with these other files over here. And if you want, you can put it at the top or the bottom. Doesn't matter. I just want it in this group of files here where my other programs are that we're currently working on. Okay. And now that we did that, we're back over here and we want to implement import stock.csv. So that file that we just imported into our Replit environment, we want to now import it into our code. So we're going to use this what's called a data reader to read it in and create our daily data object. And it is a very intricate process, and they've outlined it here in pseudocode for us. And again, you can use the pseudocode as we step through this and implement it. Okay, so now we're down here under our import stock.csv, not stock, import underscore stock underscore CSV, and we pass it stock list. And here is where we are going to start our code for that method. And the first thing we want to do is tell them that this is our stock data. And we've done this method a few times, so now that I see it's in there, I would probably go create a method based on this. But we're not doing that right now, but I will come up, and we did it just a minute ago in this method, so I will come up and grab it here. From this method, and I'm probably gonna stop here. Do I go through my stock list? Yes. So I'm gonna stop under here and copy that much. And let's use that up under here. All right, that should work. And instead of which stock do you want to graph, which stock do you want to import data for? All right. And instead of this, what we want to do is set our file name, and file name is what we're going to read in from the user at this point. So we'll do an input statement and ask them what is the file name. And he took up, there we go, okay. I was like, no, I had them in there. All right, now we'll go for the stocks through each stock in stock list. And you can set found equal to false. and go through each stock and stock list. If the stock symbol is equal to that symbol, then we're going to open, and we're going to pass it file name and new one. These are, yep, those are single quotes, so let it do that for you. And I don't need that, but I do need as stock data. So that gives it a name as I bring it in. Man, I love Replit. This is close. I'm going to call this data reader. And it's going to be equal to that CSV reader there. But instead of just stock data, we're going to tell it that our delimiter is a comma. There we go. It picked it up on that as well. And then we'll go to next data reader. That should be in parentheses. Next data reader. All right, and yes, it was right for row and data reader. We want to do, nope, not that. Daily underscore data, and it will be equal to our daily data, yes, and not uppercase there, that should be lowercase, str row, and remember we looked at this is row 0, which was the date, and then I'll come outside of that and do the float for row 4, and that row 4 should be closed. Remember, it wasn't, and if it was labeled, I wasn't paying attention. Let's see. Yeah, that one's adjusted close. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This one is close. This is adjusted close, and then this is volumes. So this one is 4, and this one's 6. So those are the ones that the 3 that we're reading in, 0, 4, and 6. Okay, now that we set that daily data up, I'm going to come and take the stock dot, remember the add data? Perfect, Replit, you are awesome. We created a module called, or a method called add data, and we're going to pass it our daily data that we just created. Okay, now I'm going to come back to the line with the first 4 right here for stock and stock list. I want to be on that same line down here. And I'll display report, and I'm going to pass it stock list. All right. So that is our import stock.csv. And now we have one more method to finish off our program, which is display report. And you can see we called display report here. So now we're going to need to come down and complete that method so that when it calls display report, it knows to come down here and get this information. Okay, so display report, and we're going to pass it stock list. And it says, gives us an idea of what we're doing here. So we'll display the historical stock prices, and we're going to look at the low, the high, the average price, and low, high, and average volume. And we'll show the starting price, ending price, and the change in price, as well as profit or loss for the period. So it's going to be a summary section. All right. For each stock and stock list, we'll display the symbol, the company name, and the number of shares, and then the summary. We'll initialize, we'll ask them which one, but I think it does all of them. Like it says here for stock and stock list, so we do the whole, all of that are in there that are available. We want to initialize variables for count, price total, volume total, low price, low volume, and high volume. Remember that we're in processing list to find lowest or highest. We initialize the low value to a very high number and the high one to a very low number, which is usually 0. Okay, and then in the print summary, you want it to look nice and neat, so we're going to use the format command here to help make that look pretty when we do our printing. Okay, all right, let's get started on it. Here's the pseudocode that it has, and I'm going to have to move this down to the next line that bugs me, and we'll start there. Okay, so this is our display report method, and we pass it stock list. And the first thing we want to do is let them know what we're doing. So I'm going to change my print. Instead of getting rid of it, I'm going to do a message here that says this is our stock summary report. Give it a little header there, and we're ready to go. And what I want to do is go through my stocks and stock list. And yes, I want to print the stock, but first I want to tell you that this is the report for, and then we come outside of there, and yes, we want stock dot symbol, but then we also want stock dot name as well. Okay, it's getting less good, but we want a print here. And we list the number of shares. shares. All right, now we're going to do that initialization. Count starts out at 0. Our price underscore total is going to start out at 0 as well. And we have volume total, which is also going to start out at 0. And our low price is going to start out at a really high number. And our high price, right, is going to start at 0. Good job. Now we have a low volume, which starts out at a high number. And then we have high volume that starts out at 0. And yes, I'm going to do for daily data in stock.data list, and I'll increment my count. Okay, my price total is equal to plus equal to my daily data dot close. Not quite, daily underscore, oh come on, daily underscore data dot close. There we go. My volume total is equal to the daily underscore data dot volume. Perfect. Now, if the daily data dot close is less than the low price, perfect. I love this. Man, I didn't write your code for you. I'm so jealous. Low price is equal to the daily data dot close. So it knows exactly what we're doing here. Then we'll do my next if daily data dot close is higher than the high price, then we're going to set the high price equal to daily data dot close. And that one is spelled wrong. Perfect. Now we got 2 more ifs based on that one for the low volume. Yes, that's it. And then we'll have low volume is equal to our daily data dot volume. All right, and if my daily underscore data dot volume, there we go. Now it's kicking in again. I don't know what happened to it. Sometimes it does really good. There we go. High volume is equal to my, there we go. Come on. Maybe I'm just not giving it enough time. All right, so that's the end of our if cycle right there to determine and set the low price and the high price for our volume. All right, and I'm missing a couple of my colons here. That's why it's I thought I picked them up. It's supposed to fit something in Alright, so now that we have those, we're going to, nope, not that far back. Print, or no, I'm sorry, we're going to calculate the price change. And our price change is simply going to be the high price minus the low price. Okay, and then we'll print our daily underscore data dot date, the close, and the volume. Man, I love Replit. Did I do that? I did that too early, didn't I? Perfect. There we go. All right, not yet. I'm going to come down and coming back, but not that far back. Back one, up. Okay, would you stop? All right, so 2 levels back, I'm going to say if count is greater than 0, that means it found something. It's telling me I'm wrong on my indent, so there we go, it must be there. Come back to the 4 level. And if it is, now we're going to print our summary report. There we go. And we'll print our low price. And we're going to use formatting to get it in there and make it look nice. So yes, we're going to do that, but we're going to add the $sign and a curly bracket, colon, comma, period, 2F. And that's going to give it a $sign and 2 decimal places. And ending curly bracket, and then a comma, and then format, dot, and in parentheses is going to be our low price. I knew I was missing one somewhere. There we go. Yes, that's the ending one. Okay, to find a mistake, it's right here. Comma should be a period, and this period should not be here. Alright, so I had a comma in the wrong place and a period in the wrong place. Now I think I'm good. I had to move my quotation as well. So once I did that, now I want to copy this so I can reuse it on the next line. Oh, come on. And we have high price, and this will be high price, and my next one will be low volume, And we don't have to format that one. It can just be low price. Let's send my quote there. And I would do the same thing for high volume. Oh, but instead of low price, it'll be low volume. Instead of high price, it'll be high volume. There we go. And then what's next? Our average volume. They did average price. I can take that and change that. And we have not price total, but volume total. And then we'll have the change in price. It seems to want to give me the average price. I'm not going to take off if you include that one because it's a nice one in there as well. But now we want to do the change in price. Oh, and it had it there. Let me try that again. Change in price is going to be next. And yes, that works. Format with the price change. What am I missing there? I'm just taking that off. Okay, a couple more. We're almost done. Hang in there, print. And this is going to be our profit loss. And price change times the stock shares. Man, I'm so jealous I didn't even funny. Nothing wrote my code for me when I was in. And I still got something going. There we go. Okay, I went away. It doesn't like my price change. Not real sure why, but I calculated it up here, so it is up there somewhere. I do remember it being, yeah, there it is. High price minus low price. So I do have it, and that's not an error. So we're doing okay. And right now we're at the outside of this if, and we're doing our else. And if it didn't find anything, then we print no data available. And then I'm going to come back one up under my else and print in some blank lines. Okay, and then I come back. Yes, perfect, right where it came back to, and we print that the end of the report. Perfect. And I think it's telling me, no, we're good. And then yes, I want the underscore press enter to continue. And it's telling me I'm not lining up right there, and I may not be. That should be right. But these two should be lined up together. There we go. Now I think I got it. No, in fact, because the T in print, there we go. That should line up with the P in the print and the T in the print from there to there. All right, so now we're ready to go test this and see how it works. And let me make sure while I'm sitting here that I haven't that I didn't type something wrong there. Oh, and I did. That's why everything is like red lines. This should be daily underscore data. And that took care of all of that. Perfect. Okay, so now that we have all that code put in, we're going to come over and test it. And when we test it, run the code and choose the first option. We got to add a stock with symbol, and then it needs to be the same as what the file that I put in. So mine's going to be that goog.csv. If you did Tesla, it's the tsla.csv, whichever works. So then we enter the symbol and the file name. And remember, you got to put in the file name exactly. So put in those uppercase letters. And you should see a report of the historical data. And once we get that data, then we're going to go pull the chart and print the chart as well. Okay, before I run it, I'm going to come up to the top and import CSV, and that's going to let it know a lot about what I'm doing with that CSV file. Okay, so now I'm going to run it, and I'm going to add at least one stock. Mine is GOOG for Google, and I have 200 shares, and now I don't want to enter another one, but now I want to load my data. So I'm doing number 7, and I want to load it for GOG. And my file name, now careful here, this is CEIS, and this is capitalized 150, and then a /, and then your file name, GOOG.CSV. Once I do that, now you can see my profit or loss, the change in price, the average volume, the low volume, the high volume, the low price, and the high price. And then you have the list here. All right, so that's our summary report. And then I can also come down, and I'm going to hit enter to continue. Then I'm going to do 5 and enter my stock name again, GOOG, for which stock do you want to graph. And then it should produce my graph in my run window. I don't quite remember how much data I did, but it took quite a while for it to generate the plot. But now that it did, you can see the plot of the data, and it changes on a daily or, changes on a regular basis. It's just really cool to see the output of this particular graph from that data that we just imported. All right, so in our PowerPoint, all we'll need to grab this week is 2 things. let's get the file or a screenshot of the file that we downloaded from Yahoo Finance. So we can take a snippet of this. We don't have to do the whole thing, and just get a little snip of what we did there to post here. And then on the last slide, the historical data, and the best way to show that is through your graph. So grab a screenshot of your graph. Oh, wrong one. And I'll get my snippet of my plot here and show this in my PowerPoint. Ta-da! All right, and we're ready to submit our Module 4 project. Thank you. Have a great week.